Spring is the most competitive real estate season of the year. If someone wants to buy this spring, what do they need to know right now?
If you're waiting until you find the house to start the process, you're already behind. Spring buyers need a 60-day strategy, not a weekend reaction.
We're right in the middle of spring market now. Why does the timeline matter so much more in this season versus any other time of year?
Spring inventory hits the market fast. The good homes, the ones in the right neighborhood at the right price, they don't sit. They go in days, sometimes hours. And the buyers who win those homes aren't the ones who offered the most money. They're the ones who already prepared before they started looking. A fully reviewed pre-approval in hand, a lender who picks up the phone on a Saturday, a clear strategy before the open house. That's what wins in spring. The buyers who lose are the ones who got serious after they found the house they wanted. By then, someone else already prepared, and in a multiple offer situation, preparation wins every time.
What's the biggest misconception people have about how to get started with buying a home?
Well, that house hunting is step one. It's not. Financial positioning is step one. But nobody wants to hear that because scrolling through Zillow is way more exciting than running financial scenarios. And I see it constantly. Buyers spend weekends at open houses, fall in love with a home, and then call me to get pre-approved. And sometimes we ended up finding things like a credit issue we could have fixed in 30 days, a debt situation we could have restructured, an income documentation gap that takes time to resolve. None of those are deal killers if we have time. But if you hear about them 48 hours before an offer needs to go in, they can be. The smartest thing a buyer can do is get their financial house in order 60 to 90 days before they even look at a property.
Walk us through the actual timeline, from first conversation to closing. What does each stage look like?
Here's the real timeline. Day 1 through day 14 is financial review and pre-approval. We analyze income, credit, assets, debt, and long-term goals. We select the right loan program, not just the lowest rate. And we structure the pre-approval so it's generally competitive, not just a number on a letter. Weeks 3 through 6, active home search. This is when you should be looking. You know your number, you know your parameters, and when you find the right home, you can move the same day. Days 1 through 30 after contract, appraisal, underwriting, conditional approvals, final commitment, and closing. If your file was structured correctly up front, this phase is smooth. Milestones happen on schedule, the listing agent feels confident, and the deal closes. If it wasn't structured correctly, this is exactly where deals fall apart, and it's almost never the buyer's fault. It's the preparation.
Can you give me an example where preparation made the difference between winning and losing a home?
Yes, I had a couple. First home had been searching for about 4 months on their own before they called me. They lost 3 offers. 3. Not because they didn't offer enough. In 2 of those cases, they were actually the highest offer on the table. They lost because the listing agents called the lenders, and the other buyers had a responsive local lender with a strong pre-approval. My clients previously had a pre-approval from an online lender. Nobody answered the phone, and as a result, they lost. So we rebuilt everything. Full credit approval, not just a pre-qual. I wrote a personal cover letter to go with their next offer, and I called the listing agent the day before the offer went in. They won their next offer, and they were not the highest bidder. They won because the listing agent believed the deal was going to close. A strong lender behind an offer does that. A faceless pre-approval letter from a website doesn't.
What does a strong pre-approval actually mean? Because that word gets used a lot, and I'm not sure most buyers know the difference.
Many pre-approvals are pre-qualifications in disguise. The lender took the buyer's word on their income, ran a credit check, and handed them a letter. That's not a pre-approval, that's an estimate. A reapproval means income is verified, tax returns are reviewed, assets are confirmed, and credit is analyzed, not just checked. Loan programs are then selected based on actual strategy and a human being who understands the file and will answer the phone at 7 on a Saturday evening. That distinction matters enormously in multiple offer situation. Listing agents and sellers have been burned by weak pre-approvals that fell apart in underwriting, and they know the difference. When I call a listing agent and say personally, we can close in 21 days, I've reviewed this file, I know this buyer, that is a different conversation than a letter that came from a form online.
What's the biggest mistake you see spring buyers make?
They shop emotionally instead of strategically. Spring creates urgency, and pressure makes people make decisions based on fear. Overbidding, waiving contingencies they shouldn't waive, skipping inspections on a home they can't afford. Winning in spring is not about offering the most, it's about being the strongest, most credible offer on the table. Strong financials beat panic bidding every time. The buyers I watch win year after year are calm. They're ready to go before they start looking. So when they find the right home, they move with confidence, not desperation.
If someone is watching this right now and wants to buy this spring, what are the 3 things they do today, not next week?
Today, not next week. Number 1, call a local lender. Not an app, not a website form, a person. Start the pre-approval process now before you find a single house. Number 2, pull your documents together. This could include 2 years tax returns, recent pay stubs, 2 months bank statements, and many other documents potentially to get pre-approved. Have these ready so your pre-approval is real, not estimated. And number 3, have the honest conversation. What monthly payment actually fits your life, not just what you can technically qualify for? Know that number before you start looking at homes.
And if they want to make sure they're positioned correctly before they start looking,
take the 3-minute home loan quiz on my website. I'll send you a personal response based on your specific situation, or schedule a 15-minute consultation. No pressure, just clarity on where you stand and what you need to do to be ready. Spring rewards the prepared buyers.